Okay, everybody. So it's teacher T.DD for new online teaching lessons. I hope all of you are fine and take care of your family. So today it's special day, so it's online lesson. Do you remember last lesson we talked about light a lot? Light and the decomposition of the light. Light is made of photons. Nothing is more faster in the universe than light, blah blah blah. But now we'll begin a new chapter. We'll talk about materials. Materials properties. What I mean is, for example, I have a cup, a glass made in metal, and I have a book, science book, made of paper. You see, it's not the same. For example, the book, I can bend it. It's not so rigid. For bend that cup of metal, I will need a lot of strength because it's very heavy. It's heavy and rigid and strong. After, what can I show you? I have plastic. Okay, I have plastic bottle. There is some work, but so this plastic bottle don't have the same properties than the other materials, and is what I want we learn today. Is different materials. We have this cup, it's not the same cup, you see. The material is different, and we will see the properties. So let's start with a video. We will see some video, and I will questioning. Sometimes I will questioning and try to find good answer to the question. So let's start by a quick video for introducing the subject.
You use objects every single day, but have you ever thought about what they are made of? Why are some bendy? And some are really hard? Or why are some smooth and shiny? And some bumpy and rough? When it comes to the objects around us, they can be very different from one another. Can you think of some materials you see in the classroom or at home? You might have come up with materials like glass, wood, plastic, metal, paper, fabrics, or rubber. Do you know what the properties of some of these materials are? You might know that wood is hard. Plastic is waterproof. Fabrics and rubber are flexible. And metal is strong and resistant. Do you know how some of these are used and why they are chosen to make objects with? Objects are made from materials that are specially chosen depending on the purpose. This is because materials have special properties that help them do their job. Take this umbrella for example. The handle is made from hard materials, while the umbrella shield is often made from plastic. The hard materials were used for the handle because it is strong and perfect for supporting the top of the umbrella. And the plastic was chosen because it is waterproof and light, which lets the rain drip off while allowing you to carry it easily. Why do you think we use glass for windows and reading glasses? You've probably already guessed it, because you can see through it. These objects wouldn't be much use if they were made of wood, would they? You may have noticed by now that our clothes are made out of special materials as well, and these materials also have unique properties. Can you guess what materials your clothes are made of? They might be cotton, which is a fabric that helps you stay cool on a hot day. Or they might be made from wool, which is very good at keeping you warm on those cold winter days. What do you think would happen if you wore a t-shirt made from metal? Well, that would just be silly, wouldn't it? You wouldn't even be able to move. Can you now see why we choose certain materials for our clothing? They let us move easily and stay comfortable because they are flexible and help us keep warm or cool depending on the weather. Now, which of these houses is different from the others? Of course, it's the house made out of flimsy paper that is different. Have you ever seen a house built from paper? No way! When it comes to building houses, we need to use tough materials such as bricks, glass, wood, and cement so that they stay standing for a long time and don't blow over in the wind. Now that you know about materials and their awesome properties, I wonder if you can spot some of them around your school.
Okay, kids. So, what we learn? We have different materials, different properties, and we make different use. Because humans are smart, they can make glass made of metal if we need strong things. And what is the purpose, the advantage of this cup? It will keep the hot coffee warm, and if you have iced coffee, fresh. But for you, maybe if you have hot chocolate, you can put in a glass in metal, will keep the drink hot. But if you have a cold chocolate, it's the same, they will keep the liquid at the original temperature. So it's very useful. We have books, it's made of paper, and it's very easy, it's light, I can take with me, it can bend a little bit, so it's very useful. So for every materials, every material we have properties, and these properties is used for interesting things. So I can maybe copy something. You can copy that on your book. So we have materials properties. Yes. I put that bigger. Can it bigger? Bigger? I want that bigger. Bigger. Okay. Okay. Material properties. So, what we can say? Oh, stay like that. So, we have materials properties. We have, for example, wood. What can we have? We have paper. We have metal. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Paper and metal. So, these materials have characteristics. So I will put here. Characteristic. Material properties. So for wood, what is the properties? Is rigid. Like a table is rigid. What we can say about wood? It's strong. Yes, is not very waterproof, but we can maybe just say with rigid and strong. Paper. It's flexible. It means you can bend it. Light is light. Paper is light. And is absorbent. It means it's the opposite of waterproof. It means if you put water on your book, if you take your book, a glass of water will be a disaster. Your book will be very damaged because it will absorb water. Metal, what can I say? Is strong, resistant. And we can say heavy is the opposite of light. I mean, I eat a lot, I'm heavy, I have a lot of weight. So is EV resistant? Okay. We can maybe add plastic. Plastic. So plastic is waterproof. Don't absorb water. If you have umbrella, it's made of plastic and protects you against the rain. Plastic is light. And I will say it's resistant. So with that, we have material properties. So we can make object with. Can be smart. Just be smart. So we will use the properties of the material for create object, but useful object. For example, with plastic, we can make glass. Glass light. Light is waterproof. So it's good. What we can make with plastic? We can make boxes. For clean, for tidy your room, your bags, for put everything in the good place. Oh, I have boxes in plastic. It's a boxes of plastic. It's plastic boxes. Very nice. Okay. So that is for the plastic. With metal, what we can make? We can make door. What we can make in metal? Boxes, but for protection. Boxes too. But we'll make some for maybe keep money. What we can make with metal? We can make a car. Because it's good, it's resistant. And we can use for wires, electrical wires. Because metal is a conductor. I can add that, conductor of electricity. Of electricity. I forget one, I will add glass. Glass is interesting too. Glass have interesting properties. What is the most common famous property of glass? Is transparent. You can see the light through. You remember during the lesson of light, I talk about glass. Glass is, what is the word for say that? It's transparent. Glass is transparent, yes. We can see what is behind the glass. That is very useful. So with glass, you can make glass windows. Is fragile. It's not so strong because that can break easily. But transparent fragile is good. So, okay, I will take that. Okay. See exact, so that you can copy on your book. Huh? You are welcoming to do that. So now, what we will talk about? Glass. Can make windows. Hey, great. Windows. Can make glass. But glass for drink. Yeah. Oh, plastic. I forget. I will put bottles too. Bottle plastic is very cool. Bottles. So if you have something to add, you can. Paper. With paper you can make a book. Paper, yes. Most of time it's just for book. Wood. Wood can make table. Can make floor. Because wood is pretty. Wood is it's material. A lot of people like wood because it's natural, and we love make a table or a desk or a floor with wood because it's beautiful. So okay, that is the materials, and you have here the properties. So I will do that. Okay, I will do another color, I think. I will select all. I select all. Yeah, doesn't work. Ah. Okay. Oh yeah. Yes. So you can copy that. Okay. It's not. Okay. Wood, and that is object. Okay. Red, yellow, blue. Okay, blue. And bigger. Object. I will copy and paste. Now, doesn't work? Okay. Here is not the object, it's the materials. And here is the properties. Object, materials, and properties. Okay. Now take the time for copy that on your book. I will export and send you online or whatever. I will export now. Material properties is for P.4, P.4, materials properties. Okay, now we will watch some video. Why do we wear clothes? Hey, it's a good question.
Hi, it's Doug. Imagine that you and your class are on a field trip together on a fishing boat out at sea. It's so much fun, nice and warm, you got your swimsuits on, you're going to go for a swim in the ocean. Suddenly, though, the boat runs into some rocks jutting out of the sea. They break a hole in the side of the boat, and the captain yells that the boat is sinking. You all have to grab life jackets and jump overboard. Splash. Now, luckily, there's a beautiful tropical island within swimming distance. So you all swim ashore. Everyone's okay. The captain of the ship says he was able to get through an emergency message sent back home before the ship sank. But help is at least a week away. That's when you start to think, oh no, now what? You're just sitting there on this island with almost nothing. How are you going to survive for the next week? You're going to need some kind of shelter. You're going to need a place to sleep. You're going to need food. You're going to need fresh water. And most importantly, you look down and remember, oh my gosh, you're only wearing a swimsuit. Oh, it sure would have been nice to have some clothes with you. Or do you really need them? I mean, you know you're going to need food and shelter and water, but do you really need clothes? What's the point? You're somewhere nice and warm. It could be worse. At least you've got your swimsuit. That's when you get to thinking, are there any reasons you're going to wish you had the clothes with you on this island? And why do we wear clothes anyway? I mean, is it just to keep warm? Or just to avoid being embarrassed? Why do people wear clothes? Have you ever thought about that? Stop and discuss what you think.
So why do people wear clothes? How many reasons can you come up with? Why we should wear clothes? Maybe for protect for the sun. Maybe for warm because the night is very cold. Maybe because we are social animal. Human, you cannot be nude, you know? And Thai people don't like be put off your dress in public. No, you don't. It's not acceptable because society say we have to wear new clothes, clean clothes every day. I mean, we cannot be nude in the street. If you are nude in the street, you will go in prison. So there is a lot of reason for wear clothes.
So why do we wear clothes? You probably were able to think of a few different reasons. Many of those reasons have to do with the weather. Depending on if it's cold or rainy or hot, or if there's bugs or mosquitoes around, notice that your clothes need to be made out of different stuff. They need to be made out of different materials. Not all materials are good for the same thing. That's because each material has certain traits or properties that makes it useful. For example, in the rain, you wear a raincoat, right? Well, a raincoat is made out of a plastic material, which has the property of being waterproof, meaning that water can't get through it. That's why it's such a good material to wear in the rain. But in really cold weather, you might wear a thick coat like this, which is lined with a material called wool. Wool has the property of being heat trapping. It keeps in the heat. Now, let me show you something surprising. This guy lives in the hot desert, and yet he's wearing a long robe. Why on earth would someone wear this in the hot desert? Well, it has to do with the properties of this material that he's wearing. This robe is made out of the material called cotton. It comes from a plant and it looks just like this. Cotton is actually the most popular material for all clothing, whether you live in the desert or not. Let's explore some of its properties. Here's one reason this guy is wearing it. Cotton blocks sunlight. See that? We call this the property of being opaque, which means it doesn't let light through. And that's what keeps this guy from getting sunburned. So that's partly why someone would wear a cotton robe in the desert. Now think about what else happens when you're in the sun. You sweat, right? Especially if you're walking around or working. Sweat can feel really sticky and uncomfortable. To be comfortable, you'd like clothes that will soak up that sweat. Well, cotton is really good at just that. It can soak up that sweat. We say that cotton has the property of being absorbent, meaning it soaks up wetness. Soft is another property we want our clothing to have since we have to wear it all day. Cotton definitely has the property of being soft. It's nice and soft. In fact, because cotton is so soft, that's probably why the clothing you're wearing right now is even made out of cotton. So cotton has properties that make it very comfortable. But now just for fun, think of a situation where feeling comfortable isn't what you want. For example, a situation where you might wear a suit of armor. Definitely not comfortable to wear, right? It's made out of steel, a type of metal. Steel is the same material that your kitchen pots and pans are made of. What properties does steel have? In what situation would you want to wear something like this?
What properties does this piece of clothing have? Is it light or heavy? So light is something not heavy. So heavy is you are big. You can say 20 kilo. It's very heavy. Oh. A paper is very light. One paper is very light, but 12,000 piece of metal is very heavy. So this piece of clothing made of steel is very heavy. Is it hard or soft? It will be hard too. Is it stretchy or stiff or anything else? So you can think about that and send me a message for give me your impression. Number 2, when is it a good idea to wear this and why? Me, I think if you are fight in the middle age, people wear that kind of thing because they fight with a swarm and they want to be protected from the enemy. So if you fight, maybe you can wear that. It's very useful. But please don't wear this clothing if you go to the beach. You will have so hot. Okay, we have a piece of clothing made of plastic. Yes, it's plastic for go. It's a swimming clothes. So is it light or heavy? What do you think? Yeah, it's light. It's light. Is it hard or soft? So hard is something very like metal, but soft is more like a pillow. You can sleep on your pillow because it's soft. The pillow will bend a little bit for kiss the shade of your face. So it's very soft. A teddy bear is soft. And I think this piece of clothing is soft too. Is it stretchy? Stretchy means you can stretch it, like it's flexible. Maybe you know we talk about stretching. People do stretching when they do exercise, like that. So this piece is stretchy, like we can see here. Do you see my cursor? Can you see? Okay. When is it a good idea to wear this and why? So don't wear for a battle, but if you go to the swimming pool, you should wear that. Okay, let's continue.
So you're stuck on this desert island without any clothes except for your swimsuit. And you're going to have to figure out where you're going to sleep tonight and what you'll eat for food this week and where to get drinking water. But right now, what's most on your mind is the sun. The sun is beating down on you. It's so hot. As you stand there on the beach, the only thing you can think about is how much you want a hat. So what you're going to need to make as your first piece of clothing is a hat to shade your head. Now, up till now, you might have just thought of a hat as something fun to wear. But hats can be extremely useful. Like consider this kind of hat you might have at home if you skateboard or ride a bike. It's a helmet. A helmet is a hat made of a special, thick kind of plastic.
Very important.
This material has properties that are like steel. It's got the property of being hard and strong. But unlike steel, this plastic material also has the property of being light, which makes it much more comfortable. Since a helmet isn't going to do you any good on a desert island, though, let's consider some hats that might be useful to you. Like, what about a cowboy hat? You've probably all seen a cowboy hat before, but unless you live on a ranch or out in the desert, you might not have thought about just how useful cowboy hats are. Notice how most of this cowboy's face is covered in a shadow? A cowboy hat is great for shading your face when you're in the hot sun. That shadow is made by the hat's large brim. That's this part of the hat. To stick out like this, the brim has to have the property of being stiff. Without that property, the hat's brim would flap down into the cowboy's eyes. And cowboy hats aren't the only good hats to protect you from the sun. Like, check out this one. This hat's called a bonnet, and it was worn by pioneer women. It has a stiff brim too to keep off the sun, just like the cowboy hat. But unlike the cowboy hat, it also has the property of being nice and soft. So it was very comfortable to wear. Okay, here's one last example. This is a traditional hat to wear in the desert. This hat is very soft too. But this one doesn't have a stiff brim. It's just loose cloth tied around the head. It may not block the sun from his face very well, but it definitely blocks the sun on his neck. Along with being soft, this hat has the property of being absorbent, so it's great at soaking up sweat. So those are some different hats made of materials with different properties. But now it's your turn. You're going to design a hat for yourself to wear on your desert island. What kind of hat will you need? What properties do you think your hat needs to have?
So this video is very interesting because we saw for one product hat. You can use many different materials. It depends what we need and where we live. So now, what kind of hat do you think you need for go in the desert? Or maybe not in the desert, for stay in your home. So I think, what property will your hat need to have? If you are in the desert, it needs to be absorbent for absorb your sweat. You need to be comfortable because if you wear your hat all the day, you need to have a comfortable hat. If you live in the city, maybe you need to have a pretty hat for people look you. And you need a hat to protect you from the sun. So opaque. You remember we saw that at the light. We have transparent or opaque. You need opaque hat for sure.
In today's activity, you're going to make a hat to keep you cool on a desert island. First, let's talk about the problem you have to solve. What does your hat need to do? To get an idea of what a hat should do, let's take another look at some hats made for hot weather. Each of these hats has a stiff brim that shades you, and each one has a part that goes over your head. Seems like it'd be nice if that part was soft and soaked up sweat so that you stayed dry. So you're going to make a hat, but what materials are you going to use? You're on a desert island after all. All you have to work with are these lunch supplies from the boat, from when a lunchbox washed up on the beach. You'll look at each thing and decide whether it will be useful in making a hat. Rather than thinking about what the thing is, I want you to think about the material it's made of. Like, don't think of this paper plate as something you eat off of, or this paper bag as something to carry stuff in. Just think about how these materials can help you to shade your head. Are you ready to get started? You will work with a partner to test the properties of the materials you have. Then, each of you will make a hat, helping each other out as you work. In the end, the most successful hat will be the one that does the best job of blocking the sun. Okay, now I'll walk you through the activity step by step.
Okay, kids, so we cannot
Get
make
these
the
starting
activity
supplies.
because we are not in class and we don't have material. You can do the activity by yourself, and we will finish the lesson for today and continue tomorrow. So tomorrow we continue, see the explanation, see extra work, and talk about materials. So it's our first teaching lesson, so don't hesitate if you have any advice for me. If I was bad, tell me, teacher, you was not good at this point. If you have good things to say, you can say it. I will send you this document online and also the whiteboard. See you, bye-bye.